command is the ability to come into a room, to assess what's going on, and to put everything in order and not feel uncomfortable stepping on toes, getting in the way, removing other people from power, because what needs to be done for the greater good is standing up and moving forward and aligning everyone to what's right. So that is a trait that for many years I felt ashamed of. That, I'm this woman with this big personality and this loud voice, and it intimidates people. And girl, if we're being honest, people talk about it intimidates men, right? And I had to learn to accept that and to be good with what that meant for me. And so now having a language around command, when I got it, I was like, yeah, that's right. I can come in and I can command the troops and make sure that everybody is doing what needs to be done for the world.
Hey, it's Logan Renee of the Soulkation Podcast, the home of all things soul care, a place where we heal, we grow, and we laugh, all while you're building your six-figure business or CEO career. And now for your Soulcation announcements. I hope you all are ready for the 2020 Soulcation Retreat. I just want to be the real me that will take place Saturday, August 28th. We're going to talk about having a CEO mindset, liking and loving the woman that you are, forgiving the woman that you were, releasing self-doubt, unpacking brokenness. We're going to have some of the most talented women at this event, and we want you there because we know anybody listening to this podcast is that type of woman also. So we can't wait to see you there. Also, we're going to have a live class this month. We have them every single month and they are free and we want you there. It is Thursday, March 25th. It's entitled Business Collaborations and Partnerships. Also, working with difficult people. How do you do that? We're going to help you find someone where do you find someone that can come alongside you while building your brand, while building your team? How do you create healthy relationships? What relationships should you avoid? Contract templates, business services and offers, narrowing down your niche so you know who you should be talking to and who's your audience. Also knowing what you're going to offer yourself as a business owner. We hope to see you all on March 25th. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulcation Podcast. I have the beautiful Nandi Shareef with me today. Welcome to the podcast, Nandi.
Thank you so much, Logan.
Dr. Nandi, let's be clear, okay? Do you mind introducing yourself to the podcast?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you all for having me today. It's such a joy to take a bit of a soulcation today. I know I needed it. I know you needed it too, and that's why you're tuning in. Again, my name is Nandi Shareef. I am an executive coach and a transformational facilitator, and I own the Shareef Group, which is a boutique coaching and training firm that ignites the gifts and talents of global leaders to create a transformed world. I've been doing this work over a decade now and enjoying the experience of helping to transform people's lives by helping them understand their purpose, what on earth they're here for, and how to utilize their gifts, their talents, and their genius in their everyday lives.
How did you even get into this work? I mean, because you've studied it. You doctor. So how did you even get in this work? It's deep work. Yeah. Why did you choose it?
Yeah, wow. What a great question. I've always loved people my entire life. You can hear stories from my sister and my mom about how they would have to be on Nandi duty in the grocery store because if they left me to my own devices, I would go up to strangers and have conversations with them and coach them. There was a guy that I talked to and I said, about 5 years old, and I said, "Sir, why are you so fat? You know that that's not healthy. You know that you should take care of yourself and eat right so that you can live a long time." 5 years old, had no idea what I was talking about, but the inner me knew exactly what I was talking about. Maybe it didn't come out the right way. I didn't have all the language yet, but the conversation around who is he when he's at his best and what's keeping him from being able to transform into the person he knows he can be. So that conversation started really early on. And then when I was in high school, I thought to myself, well, I want to be a psychologist because I had given up on my dream of being an actor or a singer. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. And so I'm going to be a psychologist. And I said, I don't know if they make enough money. I need to be a businesswoman. And then I asked myself, and then asked the world, what's the intersection of business and psychology? What does that look like? Not knowing that it was an entire field, industrial and organizational psychology, learning and development, organization development. And so my life began to transform and my studies began to transform to fit around that archetype. And where I ended up was recognizing I really wanted to be in the business world, making a change, interrupting and disrupting what was happening there, because work is where we all spend the most of our time. And so if I can intervene and support people in the place where they're expending their energy, but also where they derive a good amount of their self-worth, then I can make a big difference. So that's where it began in terms of my career. And now I get to do that outside of organizations, not working for anyone else, working for myself. And so really getting to pull the tenets of transformation into this work. So who am I being? How do I transform how I'm showing up to create different results? How do I use myself as a vehicle? So it's a bit more stifled when I was in corporate, but now I can really start to look at the whole person. It could be a lot more comprehensive and doing this work on my own from a coaching standpoint.
That's so good. And honestly, I think you would be a great actress, honestly.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Who knows? I might pick it up again. You may see me in retirement just going for it.
Why not? Why not? After 2020, we might as well try everything, honey.
No, you're exactly right. That's exactly right. Mm-hmm.
So you do corporate and you do one-on-one coaching or group coaching, just in case somebody's listening?
Yes, absolutely. So I grew up in corporate. And I think a part of where the shift started to happen for me was about 5 or 6 years ago, I started to hear rumblings about something called transformation. And I didn't know exactly what it was. I've been a trainer for my entire career and done learning and development and led centers of excellence and corporate doing that work. But there was this next level of this thing called transformation. And when I went through the programming, the companies that do that work are Momentum Education and Aiming High Incorporated, I said to myself, ooh, there's something here. And if I were to marry this experience with my formative experiences, what might that create? And so it resulted in not only me doing that work for companies, but me doing this work for leaders, whether you lead inside of a company or outside of a company, whether you lead your own household. If you're looking to figure out who you are, what on earth you're here for, and how to leverage that genius in order to create that next level of breakthrough for yourself, that's the work that I do. So I was able to take the experience that I went to school for and worked so hard for, couple that with my own personal development, learn the tools of transformation, and then again, marry them together.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to be transformed? Because a lot of us are like, okay, I just read 5 books and do a seminar and now I'm changed. I go to one therapy session, now I'm changed. What does it mean to truly be transformed?
Yeah. Wow. There's so much that comes up for me when you ask that question. This is why you're a podcast host, because you have the clever questions, sis. They are amazing. When we think about transformation, the definition of transformation is every single thing in your life can change with nothing in your life changing.
Say that again.
Every single thing in your life can change with nothing in your life changing, the circumstances in your life not changing. And that's because the transformation happens in the inner me. That I would change the way that I relate to the circumstances in my life so that the way that I view my circumstances changes. And so because of that, inherently, the circumstances change too. So when you talk about what does it mean to be transformed, it's this process of being willing to be different, being willing to shift, being willing to withstand the challenge of redesign, that I could go through whatever needs to be gone through, that I could create new beliefs, new ways of being, new thoughts, new attitudes, new actions in service to my goals and dreams, and that I'm willing to do it because I'm worth it. And because those goals and dreams are worth it too.
So what does it mean to own your genius then?
My mentor, Sylvia High, she was on the podcast earlier.
Yes.
And She talks a lot about genius and that everyone has genius. But if we never knew, if we were never called genius and never knew to call ourselves genius, we may not know or discover the genius inside of us.
Yeah.
And so we get to ask ourselves, who am I when I am at my best? What am I doing? What activity am I engaged in? Who am I with? And what are the characteristics and the qualities that describe me when I'm doing that thing where I feel completely in flow? If you feel completely in flow, that is a good indicator that you have landed on your genius or that your genius is around the corner. And so you want to stay in that space and play in your space, in that space, in order to discover, where is my genius? What is my genius? And then you want to harness it, right? When you actually understand, well, this is where it could be stemming from, or this is what it could be, then you want to try it out against some goals. So if I use what I know about myself, when I feel good, I feel like I'm in flow. If I do this, and this is my goal, and I apply this skill to doing that, what happens? Did it help people? Did it transform their lives? Did it generate money? Did it give you back more time, more freedom? Did it reduce expenses? Did it create an outcome that was different than what you were expecting? And if you do those two things, discover where the genius could be and apply that to something that's real and tangible, you'll start to see how to harness that genius for your good, but also the greater good of the world.
Do you think we're afraid to be the genius? Are we afraid to walk in the light? Do you think we're afraid? Because I know some bad people, more talented than the people on TV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, you only saw what I see.
Yeah.
Do you think we're afraid?
Yeah. I love Marianne Williamson's quote that is often misattributed to Nelson Mandela because he used it in a speech. But the quote around, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We have no idea who we are.
Oof. Let me type that up. Keep talking. Keep talking.
We don't. That's what this life is. It's a discovery. It's a day by day discovery of who we've been placed on earth here to be. So we have some hypotheses around what it could be, but you actually don't know until you're taking that last breath what the whole thing was. And even after that, it's going to be years of your descendants reflecting that will actually be able to tell the story of what it meant for your life to be lived. So, yes, we're scared, we're nervous, we're fearful, but we really just don't know. And the only way of knowing is not sitting behind a desk and trying to think about it and figure it out. It's a lived experience. It's living into this thing and stepping into it day by day, that we would understand what the genius or what the light is. But also that creates comfortability. I've never gotten comfortable doing something just by writing it on a piece of paper. I'm like, let me repeat this over and over again. No, I got to live into it. I got to experience what it's like to live that thing out.
And experience is way better anyway.
It'll teach you some things, that's for sure.
So, what do you see the most when working with clients? Is it they don't know what to do next? Is it having a plan and not seeing it through? Is it executing too many things? What do you see the most?
Yeah. So I typically work with very high performing, high achieving clients. So whether they are individual, whether I'm working with teams or entire organizational functions, these are folks who are high performing. On paper, everything is going pretty well, if not very well, but they feel that something is missing. They are unsure what it is, but they knew if they're at 99%, there's that 1% that hasn't been cleared yet, that they haven't gotten to the next level with yet. And they have no idea, not only do they have no idea what it is, but they have no idea how to uncover it. And so our journey together is all about, what don't you know that you don't know, and you don't even know that you don't know it. I have no idea at the start of the journey, and you have no idea at the start of the journey. But I have lots of tools and powerful, impactful questions that I use so that we can uncover that and figure out exactly what that is, and then work together to bring it from the intangible to tangible, from dream to reality. Now that we're aware, what does it look like when you're actually living through that, sharing that with other people, imparting that on the world? And you would be amazed once people discover and see how they can do it, how they can execute it, just how much they do. And they thought that first career, that first team that they led, that first opportunity that they had was extraordinary. But the next, wow,
Good.
wows them and wows everyone.
It's a different feeling when you're in that space. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do some rapid soul questions. So the
Oh.
first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. What is the last song you listened to?
Mm. The last song I listened to is called "Celebrate Your Queen" by Londrell. This is an amazing brother that I discovered from my friend a few weeks ago, and the entire album is devoted to meditation and prayer and supplication and yoga. And this is a rapper. This is a Black male rapper. And so this song in particular is in between a couple of meditations. And it's about how do you celebrate your queen and how do you elevate your king? And really just being excited about being in relationship with your partner and elevating them and celebrating them for who they are in being in partnership with you.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna have to check them out. What trait do you like about yourself the most?
So, for anyone in your listening audience who is an assessment nerd, I'm a huge fan of the Enneagram. It's the assessment that I use the most in my work, but I also really love StrengthsFinder. And in StrengthsFinder, there is a quality called command. And command is a quality that they oftentimes don't see in women, and especially not the foremost trait. And command is the ability to come into a room, to assess what's going on, and to put everything in order and not feel uncomfortable stepping on toes, getting in the way, removing other people from power, because what needs to be done for the greater good is standing up and moving forward and aligning everyone to what's right. So that is a trait that for many years I felt ashamed of, that I'm this woman with this big personality and this loud voice, and it intimidates people. And girl, if we're being honest, people talk about it intimidates men, right? And I had to learn to accept that and to be good with what that meant for me. And so now having a language around command, when I got it, I was like, yeah, that's right. I can come in and I can command the troops and make sure that everybody is doing what needs to be done for the world.
Yeah, honestly, when I heard you speak, I didn't know you were a doctor. I didn't know that you had worked with Miss Sylvia. I didn't know anything. Just your presence, your tone was, I'm here, I'm a light, I'm showing. And it wasn't like I'm here, like it wasn't like that. It was like, I'm here. Like you owned it. I loved it. I loved it. From literally day one of seeing you on Zoom.
Thank you for that feedback, sis. I honor that. I received that.
Yeah. If you could go to dinner with anyone, alive or passed away, who would it be?
I would go to dinner with my grandmother, who I never met, Lily Beatrice Stanton.
Wow.
And I would go to dinner with her first to understand what my mom was like as a child. I just think that would be so interesting to see, because they talk about you bad when you're a kid. And I want to know, did she have any of these behaviors too? Like, what did that look like? But also, she tells me that I'm like my grandmother a lot, my ability to stand up for what's right and to advocate. But also, my grandmother always wanted to travel the world. She wanted to be an army nurse, but her mother said no. And so as soon as I began to travel the world, and especially the solo travel that I do, my mom was like, oh, your grandmother would be so proud of you. This is exactly what she would want to do. So I would want to talk to her about my travels and show her pictures and let her know that next generation, we're doing the things that she didn't get to do and we're making her proud.
That's so good. So good. Love them. And how can we support you as a tribe? What are you looking to do next? What are you doing now? Are you putting on any events that we can attend or work with you in any kind of way?
Oh my goodness. So I'm always open for business. So if you find yourself trying to figure out who am I, what on earth am I here for, what am I missing? I got the 99%, but I'm missing that 1%. I am your woman. So you can go to nandishareef.com, sign up for a 30-minute session, and we can just chat and have a conversation about what you need and how I can be of service. But the biggest thing I'm working on right now, Logan, is my book, Imposter No More: How to Tell the Truth and Start Living Authentically.
Hope y'all heard that. People in the back and around the corner. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes. And so you can be on the lookout for that. On my website, you can also join my email list if you want to find out when the book is coming out in 2021. But just really be on watch for this conversation around imposter no more. And many of us are living lives and we don't even know that we're living them. They're the lies that we hide behind, and we tell ourselves that we want these things. A long time ago, I wouldn't have even told anybody that I wanted to be an actor or a singer. I would jump all the way to saying, yeah, but I'm in learning and development. And I would completely forget about that part of me that gets fed by the arts. And so we're in a year, 2020, of truth telling. And it's time we tell the truth about who we are and what we want. And oftentimes, the conversation around imposter syndrome can be so one-dimensional in that I don't feel confident about myself. If I say an affirmation and pose in the mirror, I'm going to, be who I want to be. But the reality is, for many of us, if our lives were built on lies, then it would require us to dismantle the foundation. So that means tearing the whole house down and then building it back up. So who would I be if I didn't have this identity that was constructed by the world or the government or my race or my background or where I came from? What if I chose from right now, from the present moment, everything I know in my shanana, right? Like in that deepest place of my spirit of who I am, and then led a life that was in alignment for that. So the book will be about that journey for me, what that looked like, how I stepped out on faith, and how I'm still in that process. This is not one of those I've arrived books, right? There's going to be a continuation of the story for books to come, but this is the starting point for people to really uncover, take off the mask, and see themselves for who they are in the mirror authentically.
I hope y'all got nuggets already. And she haven't even published it yet, okay? So please be on the lookout for the book. Thank you so much for coming on, Dr. Nandi.
Yes, of course, Logan. And I want to just take a moment to thank you. I want to thank you for the woman that you are, for the work that you do for us every single day to touch, move, and inspire us and give our souls a vacation. We can take a little bit of a break from the grind every single day and pour back into ourselves. You've given us that safe space. And so I just want to edify you and honor you in this moment to keep doing what you're doing, because it truly, truly makes a difference. So thank you for that, Logan.
I can't handle it, Nandi. Thank you so much. I received that wholeheartedly. I received it. Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely. My pleasure, sis. And thank you all again for having me. I've had so much fun.
Of course. Make sure you all share this episode with your best friend. Leave some comments. Even if you're watching this on YouTube, leave some comments for us. Let us know how you felt about the show. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Soulcation Podcast. Love you all. Bye. My hope is that your soul just went on a vacay and you have tools that you can apply to your life today. For more in-depth tools, head on over to loganrenee.com. Also, if you have questions that weren't answered on this episode, email your questions to logan@loganrenee.com and I'll answer them here on the show. I'll talk to you soon.